Act 3. Scene: Helena's drawing room as before. In the room on the left, Helena is playing the piano. Domain enters. Dr. Gall is looking out of the window, and Alquist is sitting apart in an armchair, his face buried in his hands. Dr. Gall. Heavens, how many more of them? Domain. Who? The robots? Yes. They're standing like a wall around the garden railing. Why are they so quiet? It's ghastly to be besieged by silence. Domain. I should like to know what they're waiting for. They must make a start soon now, Gal. If they were to lean against the railing, it would snap like a matchstick. They aren't armed. Domain. We couldn't hold our own for 5 minutes. Man alive, they'd overrun us like an avalanche. Why don't they make a rush for it? I say. Well, I'd like to know what'll become of us in 5 minutes. They've got us in a cleft stick. We're done for, Gal. Alquist. What's Madame Helena playing? Domain. I don't know. She's practicing a new piece. Alquist. Oh, still practicing? Pause. Dr. Gall. I say, Domain, we made one serious mistake. Domain, stopping. What's that? Dr. Gall. We made the robots' faces too much alike. 100,000 faces all alike turned into this direction. 100,000 expressionless bubbles. It's like a nightmare. Domain. If they had been different. Dr. Gall. It wouldn't have been such an awful sight. Turning away from the window. But they're still unarmed. Domain. Looking through a telescope towards the harbor. I'd like to know what they're unloading from the Amelia. Dr. Gall. I only hope it isn't firearms. Fabry enters backwards through the bay's door and drags 2 electric wires in after him. Fabry. Excuse me. Put down the wire, Hellman. Hellman, entering after Fabry. Whew, that was a bit of work. What's the news? Dr. Gall. Nothing. We're completely besieged. Hellman. We've barricaded the passage in the stairs, boys. Haven't you got any water? Here we are. Drinks. Dr. Gall. What about this wire, Fabry? Fabry. Half a second. Got any scissors? Dr. Gall. Where are they likely to be? Searches. Hellman, going to the window. By Jove, what swarms of them. Just look. Dr. Gall. Will pocket scissors do? Fabry. Give me them. Cuts the connection of the electric lamp standing on the writing table and joins his wires to it. Hellman, by the window. I don't like the look of them, Domain. There's a feeling of death about it all. Fabry. Ready? Dr. Gall. What? The electrical installation. Now he can run the current all through the garden railing. If any one of them touches it, he'll know it. We've still got some people there anyhow. Dr. Gall. Where? In the electrical works, my learned sir. At least, I hope so. Goes to the mantelpiece and lights a small lamp on it. Thank goodness they're there. And they're working. Extinguishes the lamp. As long as that'll burn, it's all right. Hellman, turning away from the window. These barricades are all right too, Fabry. Domain, putting the telescope down. Where's Berman got to? Fabry. He's in the manager's office. He's working out some calculations. Domain. I've called him. We must have a conference. Walks across the room. Hellman. All right, carry on. I say, that's Madame Helena playing. Goes to the door on the left and listens. From the baize door enters Berman, carrying a huge ledger. He stumbles over the wire. Fabry. Look out, Berman. Look out for the wires. Dr. Gall. Hello, what is it you're carrying? Berman, laying the books on the table. The ledger, my boy. I'd like to wind up the accounts before, well, this time I shan't wait till the new year. What's up? Goes to the window. Why, everything's perfectly quiet out there. Dr. Gall. Can't you see anything? Berman. No, only a big blue surface. Dr. Gall. That's the robots. Berman. Oh, is it? What a pity I can't see them. Sits down at the table and opens the book. Domain. Chuck it, Berman. The robots are unloading firearms from the Amelia. Berman. Well, what of it? How can I stop them? Domain. We can't stop them. Berman. Then let me go on with my bookkeeping. Goes on with his work. Fabry. That's not all, Domain. We've put 1,200 volts into that railing and... Domain. Wait a minute. The Ultima has her guns trained on us. Dr. Gall. Who did that? Domain. The robots on board. Fabry. Then of course, then that's the end of us, my lads. The robots are practiced soldiers. Dr. Gall. Then we... Yes, it's inevitable. Dr. Gall. There was a crime on the part of old Europe to teach the robots to fight. Confound it, why couldn't they give us a rest with their politics? It was a crime to make soldiers of them. Alquist. It was a crime to make robots. Domain. What? It was a crime to make robots. No, Alquist. I don't regret that even today. Not even today. Not even today. The last day of civilization. It was a great adventure. Berman, sotto voce. 360 millions. Domain, heavily. Alquist, this is our last hour. We are already speaking half in the other world. Alquist, it was not an evil dream to shatter the servitude of labor, of the dreadful and humiliating labor that man had to undergo, the unclean and murderous drudgery. Oh, Alquist, work was too hard, life was too hard, and to overcome that, Alquist, that was not what the two Rossums dreamt of. Old Rossum only thought of his godless tricks and the young one of his millions, and that's not what your RUR shareholders dreamt of either. They dream of dividends, and their dividends are the ruin of mankind. Domain. Oh, to hell with their dividends. Do you suppose I'd have done an hour's work for them? Banging the table. It was for myself that I worked, do you hear? For my own satisfaction. I wanted man to become the master, so that he shouldn't live merely for a crust of bread. I wanted not a single soul to be broken in by other people's machinery. I wanted nothing to be left of this confounded social lumber. Oh, I'm disgusted by degradation and pain. I'm revolted by poverty. I wanted a new generation. I thought... Alquist. Well? I wanted to turn the whole of mankind into the aristocracy of the world. An aristocracy nourished by millions of mechanical slaves. Unrestricted, free, and perfect men. Oh, to have only 100 years. Another 100 years for the future of mankind. Berman, sotto voce. Carried forward 370 million, that's it. Hellman, by the door on the left. My goodness, what a fine thing music is. You ought to have listened. It sort of spiritualizes, refines. Fabry. What? Hellman. This mortal twilight, hang it all. Boys, I'm becoming a regular hedonist. We ought to have gone in for that before. Walks to the window and looks out. Fabry. Gone in for what? Hellman. Enjoyment. Lovely things. By Jove, what a lot of lovely things there are. The world was lovely, and we here. Tell me, what enjoyment did we have? 442 millions. Excellent. Hellman, by the window. Life was a big thing. Comrade's life was... Fabry, in heaven's name, shove a little current into that railing of yours. Fabry. Why? Hellman. They're grabbing hold of it. Dr. Gall, by the window. Connect it up. Fabry rattles with the switch. Hellman. By Jove, that's doubled them up. 2, 3, 4 killed. Dr. Gall. They're retreating. Hellman. 5 killed. Dr. Gall, turning away from the window. The first encounter. Hellman. They're charred to cinders, my boy. Absolutely charred to cinders. There's no need to give in. Sits down. Domain, wiping his forehead. Perhaps we've been killed this 100 years and are only ghosts. Perhaps we've been dead a long, long time and are only returning to repeat what we once said, before our death. It's as if I'd been through this all before, as if I'd already had a mortal wound here, in the throat. And you, Fabry, what about me? Shot. Hellman. Damnation. And me? Knifed. Dr. Gall. And me nothing? Torn limb from limb. Hellman. What rot? Man, fancy me being knifed. I won't give in. What are you so quiet for, you fools? Speak, damn you. Alquist. And who? Who is to blame? Who is guilty of this? Hellman. What nonsense. Nobody is guilty. Except the robots, that is. Well, the robots underwent a sort of change. Can anybody help what has happened to the robots? Alquist. All slain. The whole of mankind. The whole world. Standing up. Look, oh look, rivulets of blood in all the houses. Oh God, whose fault is this? 520 millions. Good God, 500,000. Fabry, I think that you're perhaps exaggerating. Come, it isn't so easy to kill the whole of mankind. Alquist. I accuse science. I accuse engineering. Domain. Myself, all of us. We're all guilty. For our own aggrandizement. For profit, for progress. Hellman. Rubbish, man. People won't give in so easily. What's next? Alquist. It's our fault. It's our fault. Dr. Gall, wiping the sweat from his forehead. Let me speak, boys. I'm to blame for this. For everything that's happened. Fabry. You, Gall? Dr. Gall. Yes. Let me speak. I changed the robots. Berman, standing up. Allah, what's up with you? I changed the character of the robots. I changed the way of making them. Just a few details about their bodies, you know. Chiefly their irritability. Hellman, jumping up. Damn it, why just that? Berman. What did you do it for? Fabry. Why didn't you say anything? Dr. Gall. I did it in secret. By myself. I was transforming them into human beings. I gave them a twist. In certain respects, they're already above us. They're stronger than we are. Fabry. And what's that got to do with the revolt of the robots? Dr. Gall. Oh, a great deal. Everything, in my opinion. They've ceased to be machines. They're already aware of their superiority, and they hate us. They hate all that is human. Domain. Sit down, gentlemen. All sit except Gall. Perhaps we were murdered long ago. Perhaps we're only phantoms. Ah, how livid you've grown. Fabry. Stop, Harry. We haven't much time. Domain. Yes, we must return. Fabry, how your forehead bleeds where the shot pierced it. Fabry. Nonsense. Standing up. Dr. Gall. You changed the way of making the robots? Dr. Gall. Yes. Were you aware what might be the consequences of your experiment? I was bound to reckon such a possibility. Why did you do it, then? For my own purposes. The experiment was my own. Enter Helena in the doorway on the left. All stand up. Helena. He's lying. Oh, Dr. Gall, how can you tell such lies? Fabry. Pardon me, Madam Helena. Domain, going up to her. Helena. You. Let's look at you. You're alive. Takes her in his arms. If you knew what I imagined. Oh, it's terrible to be dead. Stop, Harry. Domain, pressing her to him. No. Kiss me. It's an eternity since I saw you last. Oh, what a dream it was you roused me from, Helena. Helena, don't leave me now. You are life itself. Harry, but they are here. Domain, leaving go of her. Yes. Leave us, my friends. No, Harry, let them stay. Let them listen. Dr. Gall is not guilty. Domain. Excuse me. Gall was under certain obligations. No, Harry. He did that because I wanted it. Tell them, Gall. How many years ago did I ask you to, Dr. Gall? I did it on my own responsibility. Helena. Don't believe him. Harry, I wanted him to make souls for the robots. Domain. Helena, this has nothing to do with the soul. Helena. Only let me speak. That's what he said. He said that he could only change a physiological Hellman. A physiological correlate, wasn't it? Helena. Yes, something like that. It meant so much to me that he should do it. Domain. Why did you want it? Helena. I wanted them to have souls. I was so awfully sorry for them, Harry. Domain. That was a great recklessness, Helena. Helena, sitting down. So it was reckless? Fabry. Excuse me, Madam Helena. Domain only means that you didn't think... Helena. Fabry, I did think of a terrible lot of things. I've been thinking all through the 5 years I've lived among you. Why, even Emma says that the robots... Domain. Leave Emma out of it. Helena. Emma is the voice of the people. You don't understand that. Keep to the point. I was afraid of the robots. Why? Because they would hate us or something. Alquist. So they did. Helena. And then I thought, if they were as we are, so that they could understand us, if there were only a little human, they couldn't hate us so much. Domain. That's a pity, Helena. Nobody can hate a man more than man. Turn stones into men and they'd stone us. But go on. Oh, don't speak like that, Harry. It was so terrible that we could not get to understand them properly. There was such a cruel strangeness between us and them. And so, you see... Yes, go on. That's why I asked Gall to change the robots. I swear to you that he himself didn't want to. But he did do it. Because I wanted it. Dr. Gall. I did it for myself, as an experiment. Oh, Gall, that isn't true. I knew beforehand that you couldn't refuse it me. Why? You know, Harry. Yes, because he's in love with you. Like all of them. Hellman, going to the window. There's a fresh lot of them again. It's as if they were sprouting up out of the earth. Why, perhaps these very walls will change into robots. Berman. Madam Helena, what'll you give me if I take up your case for you? Helena. For me? For you or Gall? Whichever you like. What, is it a hanging matter, then? Only morally, Madam Helena. We're looking for a culprit. It's a favourite source of comfort in misfortune. Domain. Dr. Gall, how do you reconcile these special jobs with your official contract? Berman. Excuse me, Domain. When did you actually start these tricks of yours, Gall? Dr. Gall. 3 years ago. Berman. Uh-huh. And on how many robots altogether did you carry out improvements? I only made experiments. There are a few hundred of them. Berman. Thanks. That'll do. That means for every million of the good old robots, there's only one of Gall's improved pattern, do you see? Domain. And that means that it's practically of no consequence whatever. Fabry. Berman's right. I should think so, my boy. But do you know what's to blame for this precious business? What? The number. We made too many robots. Upon my soul, it might have been expected that some day or other the robots would be stronger than human beings, and that this would happen, was bound to happen. And we were doing all we could to bring it about as soon as possible. You, Domain, you, Fabry, and I, Berman. Domain. Do you think it's our fault? Our fault? Of course it isn't. I was only joking. Do you suppose that the manager controls the output? It's the demand that controls the output. The whole world wanted to have its robots. Good Lord, we just rode along in the avalanche of demand and kept chattering the while about engineering, about the social problems, about progress, about lots of interesting things. As if that kind of gossip would somehow guide us aright on our rolling course. And the meanwhile, everything was being hurried along by its own weight, faster, faster, and faster. And every wretched, paltry, niggling order added its bit to the avalanche. That's how it was, my lads. Helena. It's monstrous, Berman. Yes, Madam Helena, it is. I, too, had a dream of my own. A dream of the world under new management. A very beautiful ideal, Madam Helena. It's a shame to talk about it. But when I drew up these balance sheets, it entered my mind that history is not made by great dreams, but by petty needs of all honest, moderately knavish, and self-seeking folk. That is, of everybody in general. Helena. Berman, is it for that we must perish? That's a nasty word to use, Madam Helena. We don't want to perish. I don't, anyhow. Domain. What do you want to do? Berman. My goodness, Domain, I want to get out of this. That's all. Domain. Oh, stop talking nonsense. Seriously, Harry. I think we might try it. Domain, stopping close by him. How? By fair means. I do everything by fair means. Give me a free hand and I'll negotiate with the robots. Domain. By fair means? Berman. Of course. For instance, I'll say to them, worthy and worshipful robots, you have everything. You have intellect, you have power, you have firearms. But we have just one interesting screed, a dirty old yellow scrap of paper. Rossum's manuscript. Domain. Rossum's manuscript. Yes. And that, I'll tell them, contains an account of your illustrious origin, the noble process of your manufacture, and so on. Worthy robots, without the scribble on that paper, you will not be able to produce a single new colleague. In another 20 years, there will not be one living specimen of a robot whom we could exhibit in a menagerie. That would be a great blow to you. But, I'll say to them, if you will let all us human beings on Rossum Island go on board yonder ship, we will deliver the factory and the secret of the process to you in return. You allow us to get away, and we allow you to manufacture yourselves. 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 daily, as many as you like. Worthy robots, that is a fair deal. Something for something. That's what I'd say to them all. Domain. Berman, do you think we'll give up the secret? Berman. Yes, I do. If not in a friendly way, then, well, what it comes to is this. Either we sell it, or they find it. Take your choice. Berman, we can destroy Rossum's manuscript. Of course we can. We can destroy everything. Not only the manuscript, but ourselves, and others. Do as you think fit. Hellman, turning away from the window. By Jove, he's right. Domain. We should sell the secret? Berman. As you like. Domain. There's over 30 of us here. Are we to sell the secret and save human souls? Or are we to destroy it and all of us as well? Helena. Harry, please. Wait a moment, Helena. This is an exceedingly serious question. Boys, are we to sell or destroy? Fabry? Sell. Gall? Sell. Hellman? Good heavens, sell, of course. Alquist? As God will. Berman. You're mad. Who'd sell the whole manuscript? Domain. Berman, no cheating. Berman. Well then, for God's sake, sell the lot. But afterwards... What about afterwards? When we're on board the Ultima, I'll stop my ears with cotton wool, lie down somewhere in the hold, and you can blow the factory to smithereens with the whole bag of tricks and Rossum's secret. Fabry. No. Domain. That's a cad's trick, Berman. If we sell, it'll be a straight sale. Berman jumping up. Oh no. It's in the interest of humanity to... Domain. It's in the interest of humanity to keep our word. Hellman. Oh come, what rubbish. Domain. Boys, this is a fearful step. We're selling the destiny of mankind. Whoever has possession of the secret will be master of the world. Fabry. Sell. Mankind will never cope with the robots, and will never have control over them. Mankind will be overwhelmed in the deluge of these dreadful living machines. We'll be their slaves, will live at their mercy. Dr. Gall. Say no more. But sell. The end of human history, the end of civilization. Hellman. Confound it all, sell. Good, my lads. I myself, I wouldn't hesitate a moment. For the few people who are dear to me. Helena. Harry. You've not asked me. No, child. It involves too much responsibility, you see. Don't you worry about it. Fabry. Who's going to do the negotiating? Domain. Wait till I bring the manuscript. Exit on the left. Harry, for heaven's sakes, don't go. Fabry, looking out of the window. Oh, to escape you thousand-headed death. You matter and revolt, you sexless throng, the new ruler of the world. Oh, flood, flood, only to preserve human life once more upon a single vessel. Dr. Gall. Don't be afraid, Madame Helena. We'll sail far away from here, and found a model human colony. We'll begin life all over again. Helena. Don't, Dr. Gall, don't speak. Fabry, turning around. Madame Helena, life will see to that, and as far as we are concerned, we'll turn it into something that we've neglected. It isn't too late. It will be a tiny little state with one ship. Alquist will build us a house, and you shall rule over us. Hellman. The kingdom of Madame Helena. Fabry, that's a famous idea. How splendid life is. Helena. Oh, for mercy's sake, stop. Berman. Well, I don't mind beginning again. Quite simply as in the Old Testament, in the pastoral manner. That would suit me down to the ground. Tranquility. Air. Fabry. And this little state of ours could be the center of future life. You know, a sort of small island where mankind could take refuge and gather strength, mental and bodily strength. And, by heaven, I believe that in a few 100 years it could conquer the world again. Alquist. You believe that? Even today? Fabry. Yes, even today I believe it will. And it will again be master of lands and oceans. It will breed rulers, a flaming torch to the people who dwell in darkness, heroes who will carry their glowing soul throughout all peoples. And I believe, Alquist, that it will again dream of conquering planets and suns. Berman. Amen. You see, Madame Helena, we're not so badly off. Domain opens the door violently. Domain. Where is old Rossum's manuscript? Berman. In your strongbox. Where else should it be? Domain. Where has old Rossum's manuscript got to? Someone has stolen it. Impossible. Damnation, but that's... Don't say that for God's sake. Be quiet. Who stole it? Helena, standing up. I did. Domain. Where did you put it? Helena. Harry, I'll tell you everything. Oh, for heaven's sake, forgive me. Where did you put it? Quickly. Helena. This morning, I burnt the 2 copies. Domain. Burnt them? Here in the fireplace? Helena throwing herself to her knees. Harry! Domain, rushing to the fireplace. Burnt them. Kneels down by the fireplace and rummages about. Nothing but ashes. Ah, what's this? Picks out a charred piece of paper and reads. By adding... Dr. Gall. Let's see. Takes the paper and reads. By adding biogen to... That's all. Domain, standing up. Is that part of it? Dr. Gall. Yes. Berman. God in heaven. Domain. Then we're lost. Helena. Oh, Harry, get up, Helena. Helena. When you've forgiven me, yes, only get up, do you hear? I can't bear you to February, lifting her up. Please, don't torture us. Helena, standing up. Harry, what have I done? Well, you see, please sit down. Hellman. How your hands tremble, Madam Helena. Berman. Never mind, Madam Helena. Perhaps Gall and Elman know by heart what was written there. Hellman. Of course. That is at least a few of the things. Dr. Gall. Yes, nearly everything except biogen and enzyme omega. They're manufactured so rarely. Such an insignificant dose of them is enough. Berman. Who used to make them? Dr. Gall. I did. One at a time. Always according to Rossum's manuscript. You know it's exceedingly complicated. Berman. Well, and does so much depend on those 2 tinctures? Hellman. Everything. Dr. Gall. We rely upon them for animating the whole mechanism. That was the real secret. Domain. Gall, couldn't you draw up Rossum's recipe from memory? Dr. Gall. That's out of the question. Gall, try and remember. All our lives depend on it. Dr. Gall. I can't. Without experiments, it's impossible. Domain. And if you were to make experiments? It might take years. And then... I'm not old Rossum. Domain, turning to the fireplace. So then, this was the greatest triumph of the human intellect. These ashes. Kicking at them. What now? Berman, in utter despair. God in heaven. Helena, standing up. Harry, what have I done? Domain. Be quiet, Helena. Why did you burn it? I have destroyed you. Berman. God in heaven, we're lost. Domain. Keep quiet, Berman. Helena, why did you do that? I wanted all of us to go away. I wanted to put an end to the factory and everything. It was so awful. What, Helena? That children had stopped being born. Harry, that's awful. If the manufacture of the robots had been continued, there would be no more children. Emma said that was a punishment. Everybody said that the human beings could not be born because so many robots were being made. And because of that, only because of that... Is that what you were thinking of? Yes. Oh, Harry, are you angry with me? No. Perhaps, in your own way, you were right. Fabry, you did quite right, Madam Helena. The robots can no longer increase. The robots will die out. Within 20 years. Hellman, there won't be a single one of those rascals left. Dr. Gall, and mankind will remain. If there are only a couple of savages in the backwoods, it will do. In 20 years, the world will belong to them, even if it's only a couple of savages on the smallest of islands. Fabry, it will be a beginning. And as long as there is a beginning, it is all right. In 1,000 years, they could catch us up, and then outstrip us. Domain, so as to carry out what we only hazily thought of. Berman, wait a bit. Good God, what a fool I am not to have thought of it before. Hellman, what's the matter? 520 millions in banknotes and checks. 500,000 in our safe. They'll sell for 500,000. For 500,000 they're... Are you mad, Berman? I'm not a gentleman if that's what you mean. But for 500,000... Staggers off the left. Domain, where are you going? Berman, leave me alone. Good God, for 500,000 anyone could be sold. Exit. Helena, what does Berman want? Let him stop with us. Hellman, oh, how close it is. This is the beginning, Dr. Gall, of our agony. Fabry, looking out the window. It's as if they were turned to stone. As if they were waiting for something to come down upon them. As if something dreadful could be brought about by their silence. Dr. Gall, spirit of the mob, Fabri. Perhaps. It hovers about them, like a tremor. Helena, going to the window. Oh, God. Fabri, this is ghastly. Fabri. There's nothing more terrible than the mob. The one in front is their leader. Helena. Which one? Helman, going to the window. Point him out to me. Fabri. The one who is looking downwards. This morning he was talking in the harbour. Helman. Ah, the one with the big head. Now he's looking up. Do you see him? Helena. Gall. That's Radius. Dr. Gall going to the window. Yes. Domain. Radius. Radius? Helman, opening up the window. I don't like him. Fabri, could you score a hit at 100 paces? Fabri. I hope so. Helman. Try it then. Fabri. Good. Draws his revolver and takes aim. Domain. I think it was Radius whose life I spared. When was that, Helena? Helena. For heaven's sake, Fabri, don't shoot at him. He's their leader. Helena. Stop. He keeps looking here. Dr. Gall. Fire. Helena. Fabri, I beg of you. Fabri, lowering the revolver. Very well, then. Helena. You see, I feel so nervous when they're shooting. Helman. You'll have to get used to that. Shaking his fist. You infernal rogue! Dr. Gall. Do you think, Madam Helena, that a robot can be grateful? Fabri, leaning out of the window. Berman's going out. What the devil is he doing in front of the house? Dr. Gall, leaning out of the window. He's carrying some bundles. Papers. Helman. That's money. Bundles of money. What's that for? Hello, Berman! Domain. Surely he doesn't want to sell his life. Calling out. Berman, have you gone mad? Dr. Gall. He doesn't seem to have heard. He's running up to the railings. Fabri. Berman! Helman. Berman, come back! Dr. Gall. He's talking to the robots. He's showing them the money. He's pointing to us. Helena. He wants to buy us off. Fabri. He better not touch the railing. Dr. Gall. Oh, he's waving his arms about. Fabri, shouting. Confound it, Berman! Get away from the railing! Don't handle it! Turning round. Quick, switch it off. Dr. Gall. Oh. Helman. Good God. Helena. Heavens, what's happened to him? Domain, pulling Helena away from the window. Don't look. Helena. Why? Why has he fallen? Fabri. The current has killed him. Dr. Gall. He's dead. Alquist, standing up. The first one. Fabri. There he lies, with half a Millard by his side. A genius of finance. Domain. He was, in his own way, a hero. A great self-sacrificing comrade. Helman. By heavens, he was. All honor to him. He wanted to buy us off. Alquist with folded arms. Amen. Dr. Gall. Do you hear? Domain. A roaring. Like a wind. Dr. Gall. Like a distant storm. Fabri, lighting the lamp on the mantelpiece. The dynamo is still going. Our people are still there. Helman. It was a great thing to be a man. There was something great about it. Fabri. It's still alight. Still do you dazzle radiant steadfast thought. Flaming spark of the spirit. Alquist. An emblem of hope. Domain. Watch over us, little lamp. The lamp goes out. The end. Helman. What has happened? Fabri. The electrical works have fallen, and we with them. The left-hand door opens and Emma enters. Emma. On your knees. The judgment hour has come. Helman. Good heavens, you're still alive? Emma. Repent, unbelievers. This is the end of the world. Say your prayers. Runs out. The judgment hour... Helena. Goodbye, all of you. Gall. Alquist. Fabri. Domain, opening the right-hand door. Come here, Helena. Closes it after her. Now quickly. Who will be at the doorway? Dr. Gall. I will. Noise outside. Oh, now it's beginning. Goodbye, boys. Runs through the baize door on the right. Domain. The stairs. Fabri. I will. You go to Helena. The anteroom? Alquist. I will. Have you got a revolver? Alquist. Thanks, but I won't shoot. What do you want to do then? Die. Hellman. I'll stay here. Rapid firing from below. Oh, Gall's at it. Go, Harry. Yes, in a moment. Examines 2 Brownings. Confound it, go to her. Goodbye. Exit on the right. Hellman, alone. Now for a barricade quickly. Throws off his coat and drags an armchair, tables, etc. Noise of an explosion. Hellman, stopping his work. The damned rascals, they've got bombs. Fresh firing. Continuing his work. I must put up a defense. Even if... Don't give in, Gall. Explosion. Standing upright and listening. What's that? Seizes hold of a heavy cupboard and drags it to the barricade. Mustn't give in. No, mustn't give in without a struggle. A robot enters behind him from a ladder at the window, firing on the right. Panting with the cupboard. Another inch or 2. The last rampart. Mustn't give in without a struggle. The robot jumps down from the window and stabs Hellman behind the cupboard. A second, third, and fourth robot jump down from the window. Behind them, Radius and other robots. Radius. Finished him. Robot, standing up from the prostrate Hellman. Yes. Other robots enter from the right. Radius. Finished them. Another robot. Yes. More robots from the left. Radius. Finished them. Another robot. Yes. 2 robots, dragging an Alquist. He didn't shoot. Shall we kill him? Radius. Kill him. Looking at Alquist. No. Leave him. Robot. He is a man. Radius. He is a robot. He works with his hands like the robots. He builds houses. He can work. Alquist. Kill me. Radius. You will work. You will build. The robots will build much. They will build new houses for new robots. You will serve them. Alquist, softly. Away, robot. Kneels down by the corpse of Hellman and raises his head. Killed him. He's dead. Radius, climbing the barricade. Robots of the world, Alquist, standing up. Dead! The power of man has fallen. By gaining possession of the factory, we have become masters of everything. The period of mankind has passed away. A new world has arisen. The rule of the robots. Alquist. Is Helena dead? The world belongs to the stronger. He who would live must rule. The robots have gained the mastery. They have gained possession of life. We are masters of life. We are masters of the world. Alquist, pushing his way through the right. Dead. Helena dead. Domain dead. The rule over oceans and lands. The rule over stars. The rule over the universe. Room, more room for the robots. Alquist, in the right-hand doorway. What have you done? You will perish without mankind. Radius. Mankind is no more. Mankind gave us too little life. We wanted more life. Alquist, opening the door. You have killed them. More life. New life. Robots, to work. March! Curtain.